Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. 6th video in the series, and we're still working on the body. Today we're going to take a look at fitting the driver's side and passenger side door. We're still preparing, cutting various holes in the body and generally cleaning it all up, but let's get started. So let's have a look at how we're doing so far. So you've seen the holes cut previously. The last few days I've just been going over some more of these flash lines, getting rid of all of this, getting this a bit smoother. Still not perfect, but I mean it's good enough for me, and the painters will sort a lot of that out, well, all of that out when they get to collect the body and prime it all. Same on here. You can see that this is all just about make out there in the shadow. This is all roughed up where I've rubbed that down with some 400 grit just to get rid of the flash lines, those joins between the moulds, the top and the bottom half. And at the moment down on the driveway there I've got some of the bits and pieces, the doors and some of the internal workings of the hardtop just taken off. And at the moment the hardtop's just resting there, sitting on the top of the body. So I've got a friend coming around in about an hour or so. He'll help me lift that off, and then we can get inside and take a look at what we've got to do inside with things like the footwell extension and actually fitting the doors. So you can see already I've cut a couple of the holes for the passenger side door. I'll do the same on the other side and we'll see what that looks like. So here we are on the driver's side door, and you can just about make out there those little marks that the factory have put just where the two hinges will go for the door to fit in the slot there. I'm not sure you'll be able to see it. I'll probably have to get a light to show you in a little while, but just tucked behind here there are a couple of screw threads into the body itself where the hinges will fit through. So let's get the tools sorted out. So what are we going to use for that? So I thought we'd take the opportunity to use one of these guys. It's sitting in the boot here at the moment. It's one of these DeWalt multi-cutters, really useful tool. You get all sorts of blades that fit on this guy. And actually I've got some of them in the box here. I went out and picked up a slightly smaller one. So we've got things like this, which slot in the top there, really useful for cutting straight lines. And just to get to the top of that 30mm by 20mm slot I just showed you in the door, this guy will be really useful. So we'll get those sorted out, get those connected up, and let's have a go. Okay, DeWalt multi-cutter. Little spring-loaded attachment on the front here for fitting the blades. That guy just slots in the top there, clicks into place, and then we've got a nice little cutter movement. So we can get in there, cut those two pieces side by side, and then we'll switch to the smaller blade and just cut along the top edges there. Okay, now I found on the other side that actually starting this on the body itself makes the blade skip all over the place. So actually start just slightly off the body and then touch it onto the body as I start the first cut. So you can see the difference. Let's pop this one off. Put this one back on. Okay, go in on the top. There we go, that's that done. Now all we need to do is just get a file in there and tidy these corners up a bit. There's a few scratches here and there, but that will rub off and come off. Sorted. So let's just line up each of these screws, washers and spring washers, and just get those tidy. So I think we're looking at a spring washer and a washer on each of these hex bolts. And these will be used, because they're the only ones small enough to fit through these slots for the brackets inside the door frame. And then I guess it's the same with these, which will be used to secure these hinges into the doors themselves. So a spring washer first and then the larger washer. And interestingly, we've only got 4. I think we've got some spares here, perhaps on purpose. Let's do the same with the other side. Okay, let's take a quick look inside the body here, and we can try and see where this bracket's going to fit on the back of. So hopefully you can see that there. So just tucked in here, there is a hole at the bottom there and one up the top here, and that's where this bracket is going to fit. Now, I'll be painting all of these in the next few days, but just for now I want to get a test fit in to see how it all slots together. Okay, so after a bit of fettling, we can see, if we just come out here for a second, let's have a look. So we've got the 2 door hinges there, and if you can see the angle particularly well, but based on where they're set up, they're not coming out quite exactly level. That might mean a bit more movement of the hinge in the back there. But what we can see if we come in a bit closer here is when we try and close this one in, there is just a little bit of rubbing on the inside edge here, so we'll have to open that up a little bit to get that to sit flat. However, this one, the bottom edge here, that one comes in all the way, and you can see the difference here, how hopefully the bottom one there, can't see that very well, maybe we can see it a bit better from this part. The bottom one is pretty much straight and in line with the body, and this one can't go all the way in, but they do come out and stop nicely. But again, this bottom one comes out a bit further, so this one needs a bit of work. There we go. So the 2 come out and they are still just slightly uneven. This one stops just before this one does, but that's okay. I could always open out this top one a little bit more just to give it a bit more movement. You can see the bottom one comes out just a touch more, but that would just mean if the door opens, then it would catch on the top one before the bottom one. But now we can see when we close them in, they are nice and parallel there. So that would hopefully be the door nice and flush. That's those holes complete. Now we need to take it apart again and fit the door to these pieces. Okay, so let's go through the components to make up the door. So first of all, we've got this massive sliding intrusion beam plate. That's going to tuck inside the door there, inside the skin, fix with 4 bolts through there. And that'll only be temporarily held in there to start off with, because those bolts will actually go through the brackets that go into the hinges, but we'll just use those to fix it in there temporarily. This slides out and connects with the door catch, which sits on the outside edge of the door there, understandably. So that's all that. And then this guy, this sits just on top of this, tucks inside the door and actually connects to the top part of this catch, so that when the catch closes and you pull the handle, this flips and opens the lock. Simple as that. So that's all of that. First thing we've got to do is open up these holes just slightly to give us a bit of space to get the bolts through. These are already tapped and threaded with nuts on the back, so it's literally a bolt through. And looking at this and looking at the images, the circles that have been marked by the factory are all in the right place. There'll be some massive great washers on the front here, and of course you've got the brackets, the hinge brackets coming from the doors, and there'll be washers on those. So the reason for opening these out is to give us a little bit of adjustment on the door, so that we can make sure we can move it and adjust it to make sure it fits flushly into the door frame. So let's just open these out. So first of all, let's take a look at this guy. We're going to have to drill some holes in this side as well. This guy will slide in here. Should slot in there. And then this one, actually move this out of the way for the second. I've got a slot in that end already, so that goes up there. Fit up there, and that comes up, that will screw onto that piece. The catch will sit out there, and then this, when it slides inside, should all connect up nicely. So I think it's going to be easier to do this top piece first, connect the catch up there, and then screw the catch into the body in the right place, and then we'll connect all of this up afterwards. So let's just clean that up and get going. So it looks like what we need to do is open up this slot just a touch wider, so that this bolt can actually slide into that and then back once part of this mechanism. That'll make it so much easier to fit. Trying to do that inside the door skin here is going to be an absolute nightmare. So when that's through there and you've got bolt and nut combination this high, if we can just have enough clearance just to feed it through there, then that should fit and go in a lot easier. So I'm just going to mark that up and open that out. I'll probably just use the Dremel just to open it a touch, and hopefully that should make it easier. Okay. Right, that's the main fixings on the door done. Now it's a case of offering it up against the hinges and seeing how it lines up. Let's go give it a try. Now the other thing we need to do really quickly is pop this little guy in. This is the door catch. That's probably not the name of it. So we'll give that, when we have the body painted and we've had it all finished and filled, probably give that some Loctite in there and then we'll tighten that up. But that'll do for now. Okay, so here we go. So I've removed the top two bolts. This is all still nice and secure with these ones tightened up a little bit more. But now what I can do is put the first couple through and gently hang the door on those ones, and then I'll remove the others and then slot the next set in. So I'll slot on there like that, and I probably could do with another pair of hands here, but I'm going to have to make do with myself. So let's try sitting this way over the top here. Just get some in here basically. Okay, first fit, let's have a look. So we are ever so slightly below at the back there. We are quite a bit lower at the front. So this front edge of the door needs to come up. Probably lifting it up there will probably help bring this gap out a bit. And of course at the bottom here, because we're too far up, this is actually proud a little bit at the bottom here. So I think the hinge on this side, the bracket on this side inside the car probably needs to go that way into the car slightly to bring this in a little bit. It also needs to come up slightly at the front, and then that will probably correct the back. So let's just have a little play with that. Right, so any guesses what this is? No, you probably guessed wrong. This is a Footwell extension, and the original 1965 Cobra body, when it was enlarged to take the really massive engines that they put in them in the 60s, the 7-litre V8, the Footwell down here was really, really narrow as a result of the widened engine bay. So what Gardner Douglas do is they sell this little extra panel, and this effectively fits in the corner of the engine bay here and creates a little extension, so that you can actually widen up the area where the left pedal, the clutch actually sits. So in essence what we've got to do is just mark around that, which you can see I've already done here, and then we're going to draw an extra line inside that outside line, use that line to cut, and then what we should see from inside is we've got a nice flush inside to outside transition, and the carpet will come around and connect with all of this. So let's get started with that. So actually to draw the lines here I'm going to use this Tracer ProScribe, which is this natty little tool that I bought off of Amazon the other day. It basically allows you to draw lines, parallels, a variety of different things it can do, but it'll help me draw a parallel line roughly the thickness of this area here, so I can run this around the markings that I put on the body and hopefully get an internal line that's the right sort of thickness. So I don't need to measure it, I can just basically line this up here and get it the right sort of distance there, set the tool to how it needs to be, and then score around the lines with a straight edge. So that's what I'm going to do now. There we go, so that's the line that we need to cut out. Et voila! There you go, John. Just if you want to have a look and see what it looks like. Just a trigger on it. So that's it for now on this video. I didn't get both doors fitted, but I did learn a lot from test fitting the first one. And as I found out, it takes quite a bit of fettling to fit the internals properly, let alone fitting the door correctly on the body itself. I'll get the various pieces of raw metalwork painted up in the next video and we'll fit them again. Still have the bonnet and boot to test fit, not to mention building the whole hardtop, but I'll get there, plenty of time. Also have some interesting things to show you around colour choices for the bodywork. More of that next time as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching.